Welcome back to the channel, Mr. Super Oz. I'm Oz. This week, doing something a little different. Being in the now, reviewing an Avengers TV show, Hawkeye. I would like for you to welcome back Brandon Robinson.
Hello.
Brandon. So we've both finished Hawkeye Season 1, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. What did you, well, we'll start with, how did you feel?
I loved it, but I think episode 6 dropped the ball just a bit where it lowered my overall enjoyment of the series because I was very high on it until episode 6.
I have one specific complaint about episode 6. It's the ambiguity of Wilson Fisk. But I honestly didn't love the series. I significantly disliked the first episode because of the lack of Jeremy Renner.
Okay.
Second episode picked up because of the addition of more Jeremy Renner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so my overall take on the show is no different than any other of the Disney Plus series, which is surprising because this, I thought that this show would lend better toward a series in and of itself. However, me and Brandon off video have had this conversation before. I think every Disney Plus series would make for a better 2-hour movie-ish.
Okay.
And so every time I'm watching these things, I'm like, I could throw that away, put this on the cutting floor. Who needs this? Nobody needs all of this. Come on now. And so I come away from this series no different than I do all the rest of them. I think it would have been made for a better, quick, fast-paced, awesome, and even put it out this month movie. Like, because of all of the Christmas theme,
Mm-hmm.
and because, day after day after day, working our way to Christmas, I was like, man, wouldn't that be a really fun, fast-paced film instead of spending so much time in Kate's childhood or teen years, or hi mommy, I don't care about you. I will give him credit that the almost stepdad Jack,
He got you.
by the end, I was like, I love this guy. I mean, I liked him from the start, but by the end, I was like watching him sword fight. I was like, oh my goodness, you are the saving grace of all of this. But yeah, so what was it about the earlier episodes that drew you in, since the 6th episode let you down?
Okay, so I think that to me, the first 5 episodes tackled a subject that I don't see a lot of superhero films or concepts do, and that to me is about inspiration.
Okay, yeah.
How do these heroes inspire people either negatively or positively? And I think Hawkeye is good in that because you have the Hawkeye persona, which is supposed to be his good alter ego.
Oh, of course.
But then you have the Ronin,
yes,
which is nobody knows it is Hawkeye, but that is a negative for a lot of people.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I agree that is a good thing that the series did, was show the consequences of both ways that you can act when you have the power to act, whether it's act in the good with the Hawkeye persona or act in the severe, if you will, in the Ronin way. But and even though I agree with that, I still think that you could convey that concept with a film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And so many of the side characters, like the LARPers,
Grills,
what's that?
Grills.
Just so, and like we spent so much time with the mob guys. Like, and don't get me wrong, I like enough of them to where that they're in no way do I hate this series. I just want to put that out in a clear fashion. I don't hate it. I just think that maybe if, like I said, if there were less episodes or only all the content, but in a 2-hour film, I just would have preferred it better, because I don't know, when I think Hawkeye, and I know if I'd thought ahead, I'd have had a bunch of comics to say, oh, I'm not anti-Kate Bishop, I've read tons of comics with her in it. Not that I have to prove it to anybody, but it's just, I don't know, when I think of the Hawkeye series, I was envisioning more Jeremy Renner and less everybody else.
Okay.
And with that being the case, I just wanted more.
I think, to me, when I was watching it, I got that feeling from the first 2 episodes, especially. But after the third, and maybe it's just me because I like very good action scenes. I thought the third episode was...
Oh, that's the one with the car chase?
Yeah, the car chase and the toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that is great.
So, yeah. And I keep thinking of these things if they were filmed. Like, that's going to be your midway, all the action, absolutely. Your climax action is the big skate scene with the tree and the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was great. The action itself, I just think that... So, here's something we talked about last weekend. Where I see it in... Or where we both see it in the
ranking.
The ranking of the Disney Plus series. I almost consider What If an entirely different thing. Because I consider the live actions their own not their own continuity, because they all fit in the film continuity, but of the TV shows, I feel like WandaVision was it was so unique in the opening humor, and it got more traditional toward the end, but because of the aesthetic of each episode being unique in and of itself, it really put it on a different level. I mean, I loved elements of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Again, if you could cut it up and throw some stuff out and make it a movie, I think it could be perfect. And by perfect, I mean fit perfectly within the already established Captain America films, because I think that's the best trilogy they got.
Oh yeah.
Up until the trilogy that just ended perfectly, but I don't think 1 and 2 of Spider-Man.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, that's
so. But collectively, I think Cap had the best trilogy, period. But Spider-Man probably had the best end of a trilogy.
Okay, yeah.
Because I mean that end film is just so
powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was powerful.
Well, and the reason it's such a good end to his trilogy is because it's really the end of 3 trilogies.
Right. And it's the start of something new, clearly.
Oh, yes. Because, I'm sorry, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
The fact is, I don't hate Hawkeye. I think, worst case scenario, it's like in the middle of the pack of the Disney Plus shows. Maybe just a hair above middle, but like, I wasn't a fan of the ambiguous ending of Loki, which turned me off. I know they're getting another season, but I want clarity more than ambiguity, and that's why I was so anti the Kingpin stuff. Because the moment the show ended, I was like, "Why'd they kill Kingpin?" My girlfriend's like, "Oh, they didn't kill him." I'm like, "What else could they have done?"
Well, so I was worried at first that Kingpin died, but reading, they're like, "Oh, he does in the comic books." He can't think of her name.
Echo.
Echo does shoot Kingpin and he gets blind.
Oh,
so that's why I was worried at first. Like, why did you bring him in? To kill him.
That's literally my big complaint of like I love Vincent D'Onofrio's performance both in Daredevil and the very very little bit we got here. But even this little bit was enough for me to be like, I want more of this. So that's very pleasing to hear that it might be. Oh my goodness! And the idea of him being blind with the return of Daredevil, I was like, oh yeah,
it's a cool concept.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Okay.
So that changed.
That might help me give Hawkeye some more love, because that was one of the things that really hurt me. Not hurt, like I'm not hurt. I'm not limping, but like it's one of the things that made me look down upon it. You know, I was like, I love this guy. I had the same feeling for Black Panther. I didn't want Ulysses Claw to die, and the minute I saw him die, I was like, my feelings on this film just went down. I was like, I want this character to live on. I still have hope that he'll come back, mostly robot.
They can do something.
They'll figure something out. Fingers crossed, hopefully. But like, I don't know. I don't hate Hawkeye. Do you think it's gonna get into season 2?
I think it's probably gonna be Hawkeye and Black Widow. because
Okay.
I think their rapport and they worked well off each other.
So no Jeremy Renner at all in season 2.
Yeah, no Jeremy Renner. If it is, quick phone call because it's like they're down and out.
Well, what if he comes? I could see him coming in for like the closing episode.
Yeah, but I don't think
much like Vincent D'Onofrio, right? He was only legitimately in the last episode, so I could see Jeremy Renner being maybe last episode of season 2 if there is one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't know if there was one announced or not. But yeah, I agree. So overall feelings, what are you thinking? Oh, hold on, just 1 second. Talk, but I'm gonna grab something.
Yeah. So overall feelings, I would say Loki, then Hawkeye, then WandaVision, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier. But the only reason why I think Hawkeye is above WandaVision, even though WandaVision is unique, I think that, one, it ties better in with the movies from Black Widow to... and I don't think, and I personally think I have to watch Endgame again, but I think if you miss out on Captain and Winter Soldier, but you saw Endgame, and let's say Captain America 4 comes out, I don't think you miss anything because Cap gives him the shield.
Okay.
And basically, if that was your last point, he has the shield, so you just automatically would assume.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need to have watched the series whatsoever, but I think that they're going to treat most everything that way.
And that's kind of detracts, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that I think that's a plus, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make everything just a little pass onable, if you can even make that a thing. But like, an example of how I think things are able to be passed on, right? If you didn't watch Spider-Man: Far From Home, the opening 20 minutes of the film tell you everything that happened.
Yeah, it was a recap.
It was so much recap that I thought, well, let's cut a lot of this shit out and throw it away. But hey, whatever. Nobody's hired me to edit their Disney properties. But I'm cheap, so I'd be open to it. So the reason I stepped away there for a second is I have thought long and hard about a rating system because I thought this might become a more regular thing on the channel, and I wanted to give what I think each one of the star ratings represent. So a 5-star review means that the thing is great, excellent. Like, you can't get better than 5 stars. 4 is good. 3, it's fine. Middle of the road. 2-star, it's passable. I watched it. I didn't hate it. I didn't stop it. 1-star, it's a fail. And if it didn't even get a 1 failing star, then it means that thing was trash. I probably didn't even finish it. But as far as like Hawkeye goes, I struggle to think that it's great because of all of the stuff that I don't want in it, like just all the stuff that I think I can throw away. But I all the stuff that I would edit out if given the opportunity isn't so bad that I would put it anywhere below good. Like, even the stuff that I think is unnecessary is still fine or good. And so, like, to me, 4-star series, very, very good. What about you?
4 stars.
Okay.
And I just think that Hawkeye, the show, did something that I just loved, is the commentary of superheroes, where you have the Avengers musical.
Yeah, well, that is an interesting. Did you watch the post-credits?
Yeah, I watched the post-credits.
Yes, I don't know how I feel about. I watched it. I didn't think it was garbage, but again, you bring up the interesting point of the commentary. It goes back to the inspiration, which again, I think that you can establish that Kate is inspired by Hawkeye without devoting 2 hours to it. Was my only critique, and that's why I'm glad we spent such a short amount of time with the musical, is because we both got the idea of why it exists without having to watch a 2-hour version of it. So that's a big thumbs up to Marvel for not having to say, hey, I'm going to beat you over the head with this idea. They just said, oh, here's one scene and you get the idea. So I will say thanks for not overly sticking with that odd choice.
Yeah. I just think that what it was dwelling in was on the right track of like trauma, and I think the way that people internalize it, because take for example in the beginning scene, Hawkeye going through the window was actually a very dramatic scene in the Avengers film.
Right.
It was a low point.
Yes.
But in Kate's it was a high.
Yeah.
And I just think that it was trying to say that certain traumas we internalize as good. Like the Avengers, that was a scary event.
Oh yeah,
but
well, especially for just a regular guy.
Right. It's like, oh, but that was Tony Stark's like coming to like, oh, I'm human, I could die. But the musical is like, oh yes, we're flying and it's like, hey, Captain America was a man at a time who felt alone. But nobody knows that, but we internalize it. And I think that's why Hawkeye was looking at.
Well, I'll give them credit for that, which I didn't think about it that deeply, but yeah, your interpretation, if that was their intent, is way better than just we inspired a thing. But no, you're right. The representation of your life isn't always how it actually went for you, in the eyes of others.
Right.
An example of that, not to the same degree, obviously, but I was selling Everlasting Survivors to comic shops, or attempting to sell, talking them into putting them on shelves. And a guy walks up to me and he says, "Oh, I want to be where you are." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm not anywhere yet. I had the idea and it's physical, but like nobody wants it yet. Not nobody, but I'm at the beginning step, right. But because I'm one step ahead of starting, somebody thought, "Oh, you're so far ahead of me." I'm like, "If you say so." Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it is very interesting to understand how others see your life. And I will give Hawkeye credit, thanks to you, that the musical does give a new perspective on what the heroes did and how they perceived it. But yeah, I didn't see it that way until you brought it up. But yeah, it's that's cool.
Yeah. I just think that's what Hawkeye does best. And when it got away from that a little bit in episode 6, because I didn't really like the Yelena and Hawkeye fight. I just kind of found it a little bit cliched. I wish that she actually snuck in into his house and was like, "Hey, we need to talk," and they just have a conversation. It doesn't need to be a fisticuffs.
Well, especially given the episode prior when she realized it was Kate's mom who hired her. It was like,
right.
You would think at that point you would have a light bulb go off. Although I'm sure in their mind it was like, "Oh, she's so rage filled that she has to have the fight." And maybe that is the case of just fighting it out, or in some people in real life scenarios crying it out. And so she was letting it out physically before they could come together. Maybe is what it was meant to represent. But I agree. I think a conversation would have been wiser. But I understand it's action. But I think that she could have still had the action, but just on their side. Like, let's say that the conversation happened in 5, then in 6, man, she could full on be on their side the whole time.
Right, yeah. I just think that it could have been handled a lot better. But I do enjoy the interaction between Kate and Yelena.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when they were hilarious.
When they were on their way for Yelena to fight
in the elevator, yeah. And then the one shot, I was like, that is fantastic. Yeah, it was great.
So again, I'm not putting Hawkeye down. I enjoyed the Matt Fraction run on Hawkeye. He was an executive producer on the show. The show's really good. Like I said, 4 stars. Not perfect, but absolutely not a fail. Thanks again for coming, Brandon.
Oh, yeah. Anytime.
I appreciate it. Everybody, I will put a link in the description to the Etsy page, Everlasting Survivors, Volume 1, all day long. Cover A, Cover B still available. Thanks for tuning in to Mr. Super Oz, the channel. This is Brandon. I'm Oz. Bye.